What's up, you guys? How you guys doing? Twin Swag here, and I just wanted to get a quick video out to the Battlefield 2 Modern Combat Discord group, and for anyone else who is interested in running Battlefield 2. And we got some real changes, got a couple announcements, and just gonna kind of clarify a couple of things. First of all, this video is like 3 months overdue. This year's been really crazy for me. I basically started the year with full employment with my business, and then like all that got canceled with COVID, and so I was like scrambling, and then I was part-time, and now I'm where I'm at right now. I'm basically full-time plus overtime, and so that's where I've been for the last several weeks. And so it's been really crazy for me to try and get gaming content out, and right now what little I've been able to do, I'm finishing a really large-scale edit for Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. It's taking a lot of hours to complete, and I'm hopefully going to make a lot of progress today, because today is one of my first full days off where I can actually sit down and do some content. So really excited about that. But the reason why I'm doing this video, as I said, is to kind of go over some of the rule changes that we've done for the speedrunning. And if you guys don't know, and I think most of you guys watching this video will know, that Boston Brew asked if I would come in as an admin for the speedrun.com, working with the Battlefield 2 Modern Combat stuff. And so if you guys go over to full game leaderboards, I went ahead and let Rack and Boston Brew know that their positions have changed, because we as a community voted and decided to do in-game time. And we've been talking about this in the Discord, and the ramifications of choosing to go from real time to in-game time. There's a number of things. One, this allows us for doing segmented runs, and basically what that means is you can start working on it, and then if you need to step away and do something and then come back to it, you're welcome to do that, as long as you're paused, or really what you should do is you should do that in between rounds. And as we've talked about extensively, that the Xbox console itself, and we don't allow for emulators, the Xbox console itself does have issues with freezing with this game, and okay, I'm not like that much tech savvy, but from what I've been able to piece it together, it's just when way too much is trying to render, or it could be a heat issue. But JMM Review has talked to us and helped us out, where if you have one of the older Xboxes, a certain capacitor has tendency to leak and stuff. And so part of the hardware and software limitations, we've made this decision to help not go through 2.5 hours, which literally happened to me. My first submission I ever did, it literally froze as the missile on the final level goes and blows up the bunker, and then the game is over. So it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes of real time of from the very beginning to everything, and it was just completely, it didn't count because you didn't get the end of round screen. And so it can be an absolute heartbreaker. So the ability to do the in-game time really helps with that. So what that means is this: say you're halfway through a campaign and you really want to lock in that time, you restart it, you keep your game capture going so that I can see the restart, and then you going back through the same campaign. You got to do the same campaign, obviously, and pick back up, and then that's totally legitimate. What that means, though, since we're doing in-game time, if you are in the middle of a level and you die, you go back and restart that level, but that time is going to be added onto it, and then I'll go back and verify all of that on the back end of it. So we are still incorporating that. The rule on if your game freezes in the middle of a level, we're going to delete that time, because that's not your fault, that's the machine's fault. So, say you're on submerged, you get 3 minutes in, game crashes, and you start back over on submerged, we're not going to count that time. If you die on submerged 3 minutes in, we do add that time to the final. And so the best way for you guys to be doing that, and I'll include this link in the Discord, download live splits and get the segments that I've set up for you guys, and it does include my current time as well. And if it works out so that someone beats my time, then I will put their splits in there so that you guys have the accurate things to be chasing. But the way this works, you download live splits, free program, works great. And then rather than rolling with real time, you just, at the end of each level on the split, you manually input your time. You have the time you're chasing on the right, I think it is, and then the time that you're inputting on the left, and you just go in and manually edit the split. and then you'll upload those splits as part of your submission. So that's that as far as the full game goes. I don't think that there's any other bits to talk about there. If you have any questions, just let me know. The announcement is, which we've already talked about in the Discord, is that we do have a new category that we're calling No Swap. And the way that this works is it's just like the other ones where you can start on any campaign as opposed to the full game. You have to start a fresh one. You can start at any point in the campaign with all the gadgets, all the weapons, and everything unlocked. And that's part of the meta of doing all this. And it is using your in-game end of round time, just like the other ones. But the difference is you may not hot swap, and this leads to the conclusion that you also cannot die. Because if you die, it kills your round, and then you go to another, or it doesn't end the round, you go to another person. So no, we're not going to allow you to die and then move to another person. If you die, you got to start over, and if you hot swap, obviously you can't do that. So this is really interesting because as we've changed from the real time to the in-game time, one of the really interesting metas that's come about is that you can use hot swapping to shave seconds off of your time, as opposed to with real game time while you hot swap. That usually takes I think it's 2.5 seconds. Well, it depends on the distance. But let's just say it's on average to 2.5 seconds. So say that you're on a deep part of a map and you're gonna try and hot swap to some dude over here, and you have to chain hot swap. That might take you 8 seconds of real time to do that, and the benefit of the travel might or might not be there. Now it's just total meta. It's just you hot swap, the game time pauses, and you travel, and then it resumes once you get to that hot swap. So this is effectively doing the most real time category that we have. So no dying, no hot swapping, and I'll just show you the one example that I did for this. You guys can look at this on speedrun.com. This is just me doing in and out. It's a pretty decent time. I think it definitely could be improved upon, but I was working on this for about 3 or 4 hours. And interesting thing about this category is, just like any other speedrunning, but really memorizing the timing and the dynamics of certain spawns and things like that. So what I'm doing right here is I found out that if you cut right instead of going through the main courtyard, you can beat the set respawn for these, or spawn in points for these tanks, because you reach a certain threshold, you look down so that you're not looking at where that friendly spawns up there on the roof, and then boom, that spawns the tank behind you, right? Because the engineer and the tank spawn at the same time. So that's why I'm looking down. In this case, it doesn't have to do with anything with frame rates. I've actually had a lot of people asking if I'm looking down in these because of saving frame rates like in other consoles. It actually does a little bit, but it's more for just making sure that things spawn in. Those fast movers are dynamic. They do change. And this part, I didn't know if I was going to have to C4 the fast mover or not. And after several tests, you don't. You just have to run into it. And so that was a cheeky little thing that I thought of, is saving time and then blowing it. And then the rest is just memorizing where all the enemies are. An interesting thing about this run is that the rapid fire actually hurt me on several runs. I got saved by a friendly. I don't know if you saw that last shot. A friendly killed that last guy while I was reloading. I had several runs get screwed because once I hit that rapid fire and I missed the couple shots. See, I missed a few there. This could be improved upon on a perfect run, but if you reload, you could botch that run. So that's just an example of a no swap. It's effectively just you run it as soon as you spawn in. You don't swap. You don't do anything. So. I'm really excited about it. Now, I have not gone through all of the levels yet. I've gone through about 3/4 of them. Now, I'll just talk about a few that I think might be a little difficult to do this on. One of them is Metal Island, and that is the one where you are on the oil platforms. And I have done it on a no swap technically. It's a little cheeky, and it'll be interesting to see how you guys strategize as to no swapping that. Because that is definitely a level that assumes you're hot swapping between the island and the oil rig. One I have not tested yet that will be interesting is End of the Line. and that is the one where the you do all of the fighting in that big open field, and then there's the train at the very end you got to blow up. That also assumes that you're hot swapping through several people to get to the very end, and I believe you should be able. I really should have tested that before doing this, but you got to blow that train up by a certain point, and so you'll have to time that and run down the tracks in order to get that. And then the other two that I also haven't tested because, well, flying the flag is. It's flying the flag, you guys. That's gonna suck trying to do that on no swap. I mean, the deaths on flying the flag are plentiful. It's a really tough one. Going into those bunkers is hard enough, and making sure that you have all those perks is like necessary. But that last segment where you have to go up into the bunker, that is gonna be really challenging. End game, I would recommend doing Chinese, but I could see NATO happening as well. But I would definitely strongly recommend doing Chinese, and that is also going to be tough. But last one that's notable is Headshot. I have done this on no swap, and it's challenging. I'll just say that. It definitely can be done. The level design assumes that you're hot swapping between the snipers on the roofs, and if you go on the ground, you go out of bounds. And so I'll just say, without giving too much away, that it's a little tricky to do that. So that pretty much covers it for this video I wanted to hit, and I'll put the live splits link down in the description of this video. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys want to discuss any other rule changes or anything else, obviously just let me know. And thank you guys. I will see you in the next one. And if you're watching this and you're not in the Discord, link to get in the Battlefield 2 Modern Combat Discord is also in the description of this video. We'd love to see you guys in there. It's a great community and it's growing, and we'd love to see you in there. All right, Tweet Swag out. Thanks, guys.